Hi, you're listening to This Is Not Your Practice Life. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friends. I'm a certified life and emotional intelligence coach. And if you really want to step into your highest self, there are a few non-negotiables you're going to have to learn, and I am just the person to help you do it. No matter your past, I'm here to help you create a more fulfilling future. So stick around with me. Not only will I teach you how to navigate your brain's daily mind drama, but I'll help you actually understand your mind, your emotions, why you do the things you do, and why others do the things they do. Most importantly, I'll help you build the self-awareness skills to create whatever results you want. It's never too late to change the trajectory of your life. After all, this is not your practice life. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. My name is Macy, and I am so excited that you are joining me today. So today we're going to dive into the topic of being busy, busyness, describing yourself as someone who has to stay busy all of the time. And I'm going to tell you that this episode is really coming from the deepest place of love. None of it is coming from judgment. If you are this person, I used to be this person. I just want to bring it to your awareness. So if you are a brand new listener, if this is your first time ever tuning into the podcast, I highly recommend, whether it's after this episode or right now, that you go back and you listen to the beginning episodes. It will give you a lot more context as to what we're going to be talking about here, the kind of work that I do, and really the episodes build upon each other or one another. So if there's ever an episode that you tune into and you feel a little bit confused, you're like, what are these concepts she's talking about, or what does she mean? I highly recommend going back to the beginning of the podcast. And when you feel like you've got a good grip, then bounce around to whatever episodes speak to you. That's not a problem at all. And if there's a point in time where you're listening to an episode, it hits home, you're ready to do the work, schedule a free consult on macyrenee.com and we can talk about it. And I might just be the person to help you out and coach you. All right, busyness. Let's talk about it, okay? So years ago, 7 years ago, before I actually found my coach, I would have described myself as someone who had to stay busy. I did not like to sit still. I couldn't really sit still. If I were to sit down on the couch or on my bed, it was like I would go absolutely insane. I needed to be up cleaning or dusting or reorganizing or hanging out with friends or going somewhere. Like I needed to be doing something. Raise your hand, even though I can't see you, right? Put your hand in the air and wave it like you just don't care. If this is you just feel like your calendar always has to be full, because if you have any downtime, you might go a little bit cray-cray. I see you. I can totally see you, okay? If this is you, I feel you. This is where I was 7 years ago and all the years of my life really before I found my coach. So when I did find my coach, I was in go, 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 Energizer Bunny kind of mode. I had huge dreams. I still have huge dreams, but I was very much a hustler. That's how I would have described myself. I was someone that with any of my goals, I wanted to prove it, like to prove myself to other people. I wanted to, basically rise above anybody that doubted me and prove people wrong. I wanted to work really, really hard and I didn't care like what it took. And that was kind of the place that I was in at the time that I met and hired my coach. And very early on into our coaching together, I remember her saying and this was to the group because I started with group coaching whenever I started coaching because I couldn't afford one-on-one. I was 24 years old. I was barely making any money. I am formerly an occupational therapist, which just reminded me I need to renew my license because I do still keep my license current. But anyways, I remember her saying to the whole group, like, okay, we're really going to have to get into feelings because a lot of you all are in hustle. you're busy, you're doing work all the time, but you're not actually meeting your goals, you're not actually getting where you want to be, I think that there's some feelings like that are blocking you. And I remember when I was in a particular coaching call, my coach had said to me, you need to feel your feelings. And I had no idea what on earth she was talking about. So to give you a little bit of background, I did grow up with a good amount of childhood trauma. I have great memories in childhood, and I also have very traumatic ones in childhood. And I grew up super fast for my age. I took on a lot of responsibility that now that I'm an adult and have done a lot of work on myself, I know it wasn't ever my responsibility, but I took on those roles as a child. Also, because I was the oldest, it felt like what it needed to happen in order to make sure things would be okay. And that was just kind of the heavy load that I took on willingly. It didn't feel like I was willingly doing it as a child, but looking back, I can see that I did that. And I lived a lot of my life just kind of putting on a brave face, carrying a heavy load, and reminding myself that I was strong and I could do it. And one of the my coin phrase growing up, from teenager to young adult up until the point that I met my coach, was put on your big girl panties and handle it. That was my phrase to get through life. Every single time something traumatic would happen, or something hard would happen, or something unfortunate would happen, that really felt like it put a heavy load on my shoulders, like thousands and thousands of pounds, and it felt like I was drowning or dragging. My comeback phrase to myself to keep pushing was always just put on your big girl panties and handle it. No one cares. No one's going to feel sorry for you. You just need to get up and handle your business. So in order to basically feel content, or really what I can see now looking back at what I was doing, was I was in survival mode. And the easiest way to navigate my life was to be busy all the time. So my calendar was always full. I never really had downtime. I was always volunteering myself to help other people. I was hanging out with friends in any downtime I had. I would, my sister and I would go spend hours at the gym every single night from probably 9 p.m. to 11 at night. And then I would drop her off, and then I would go to college classes. And this is how I lived so many years of my life. And when I would have a down moment, I would always say, I hate downtime. I just love being busy. I love having things to do. And I didn't realize, and this is where it could be true for you too. It may not be, but this is what I invite you to kind of observe within yourself. When I started learning that humans, right, we as humans really like to push away our feelings. We don't necessarily love feeling emotions. We especially don't like the emotions that feel bad to us in our body, like anger, frustration, envy, jealousy, sadness, despair, grief. All of those emotions just feel like trash. They're a part of the human experience, but they don't feel good. We don't like stress. We don't like anxiety, right? It just feels really heavy and hard to the body. So we are also very clever as humans, and something that we do to feel better is what is called buffering. And buffering is when you find activities where basically you take action in place of feeling emotions. Meaning that if you are sitting down for a moment and your brain starts to wander and you start to feel a little anxious, instead of sitting with that anxiousness and getting really curious as to why it's coming about, the immediate response for us subconsciously is to go fill our time with something. So it might be you sit down on the couch, the house is quiet for once, and you start to feel a little bit restless, like, I should be doing something, or I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety arise, or, I'm thinking about something that's starting to stress me out. And so you go pour a glass of wine, or you turn on a TV show, or you start scrolling on social media, or you get on Amazon and you start shopping, right? You distract yourself. That's buffering. Like you start cleaning, whatever it is that you do. And we do this so that we don't have to feel emotions sneakily. It's very, very sneaky. It doesn't seem like a problem when you just pick up your phone and start shopping on Amazon, or you start scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, or whatever it is that you decide to do. You pour yourself a glass of wine and you're like, I just need to relax. Like I need to make myself relax. We don't realize that a lot of the busyness that we engage in isn't because we actually want to be busy. It's because we don't know how to manage or sit with emotion. Because when you actually sit down, when you actually take time for yourself and you give yourself space to just be, what you also welcome are all of these subconscious thoughts that you've been shoving down for several years. All of the emotions that have been stored in your body for several years. Okay, have you ever I'm going to tell you one of the weird ways that this kind of comes up. It's not weird at all, really, but something that's kind of unexpected, and maybe you've experienced it. Have you ever went for a massage session or a Reiki energy session or an acupuncture session, and at some point in the session, they touch a certain muscle or certain body part, or you just feel overwhelming emotion and you start to cry? That's actually a very normal thing that happens during massages or any type of body work. And the reason being is because our body holds so much emotion. And for a lot of people, they're not actually addressing that emotion. They're not feeling it. They're not super aware of it on a conscious level. It's kind of like we just live on autopilot and go, 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 and do what we need to do and add more tasks to our calendar and fill all of our time with something so that we don't have to feel. So when you do something like slow down and go say, I'm going to go get a massage, or I'm going to go, get my nails or toes done, or whatever it is. And maybe you have a moment where it shocks you because you feel emotional, even if you don't cry it out. It's because in those moments of downtime, when you really let down and someone is working on your body, right? You hold so much of that in your muscles. You hold so much stress. A lot of times people hold a lot of stress in their shoulders, and a lot of times you can tell whenever you see someone's shoulders all the way to their ears because they're just so tense. So anyways, fun caveat is that I also went to massage school. So I have a lot of tools up here in my toolbox. I went to school, got a bachelor's in health science, then got a master's in occupational therapy, practiced as a pediatric occupational therapist for 6 years, went to massage school, I think in 2018, 2019, just before COVID hit. I'm Reiki certified in all 4 levels. So I have a good amount of tools in my toolbox. And I say this because this has truly been my experience, is that you can really tell when someone is maybe holding a lot in their body. You feel it in their body. You can feel the tension, and sometimes just them having that downtime for an hour will release emotion that they didn't even know was there. And sometimes they feel embarrassed because they're like, oh my God, I don't even know why I'm crying. And it's because, maybe they haven't released that emotion yet. So let me rewind all the way back to that busyness that we get kind of stuck in. I just want you to ask yourself, is this me? Am I someone that feels like I have to be busy all of the time? And if you do, why? Get to the root of that. Why do you feel like you have to be busy all the time? And if your follow-up answer is, I'll just go crazy if I have to sit by myself, I'll go absolutely insane, then I just want to lovingly tell you that there's probably things that you could explore within yourself that could actually be so freeing you don't feel like you have to be busy all the time. Because here is the actual problem with people who stay busy all of the time. And it's not everyone, but it does happen to a lot of people. I see this over and over again, is that there is a level of fatigue and stress and high cortisol that is not healthy long term. So it's almost like this like catch 22 is what I'm trying to say. We want to stay busy so that we don't have to feel our emotions, but then we start feeling not so great emotions because we're so overwhelmed by all of the busyness on our calendar. Okay, so do you see what I'm saying here? It's like I put so much on my calendar so that I don't have to feel my emotions, but then I start feeling all types of like uncomfortable emotions like stress and anxiety and overwhelm because of everything that's on my calendar. And so then you're just bogged down with whatever you're holding onto emotionally and subconsciously in your thoughts, mixed with the busyness of everyday life and the overwhelm. And that's a lot of times when people, women especially, hit their breaking point, hit points in their life where they're resentful. Maybe it's to their, partner. Maybe it's just resentful. And I feel like I have to do it all and be it all and handle it all. And nobody's helping me. But whenever people do try to help me, they don't do it right. And, so if you're just noticing that this is you and these are your stories, I just want to invite you to really truly try to sit with yourself. And I think it's earlier on in the podcast, I have an episode about buffering. It's like the title is, Are You Guilty of Buffering? And I highly recommend you go listen to that. I think it's probably one of the first 5 to 7 episodes if you scroll way, 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 way back. And that will also give you some insight on if you are buffering in order to avoid emotions that you don't necessarily want to feel. So fast forward, I will tell you that 7 years later, I love not being busy. I'm the total opposite of what I was 7 years ago prior to coaching, in that I really appreciate time that I, create in my life for myself. And not having a full calendar and not having to be busy all the time. I enjoy my own company, which I can't say that I necessarily loved prior to coaching. Like if you would have asked me to go eat by myself somewhere, I never would have been able to eat at a restaurant alone because I would have been stressing, one, about what people thought of me, 2, thinking that other people are thinking that I'm weird or pitiful or just sad. And then 3, I would go crazy with my own thinking, like my own thoughts, and just being like, oh my gosh, I can't even sit with myself because I have so much running through my mind. And now it's like a joyous experience to take myself out to lunch or to take myself out to dinner. I have no drama about it. I enjoy my company. My mind doesn't race with a million things. It's just a peaceful opportunity. So even if maybe you're experiencing something like that, it's another invitation of like, I wonder what that's about. And again, I say all of this out of love, no judgment at all. If you're the person that's busy, or that if your current, sentiment to yourself is like, I love being busy. I like staying busy. I like, doing all the things all the time. Ask yourself, do you really? And maybe you really do. But what are the reasons why you even do love that? That's a good thing to answer too. Sometimes, your answers may surprise you. Like, why do I love being busy all the time? Why? And if you, don't love it, why do I stay busy all the time? What is that really about? Like getting curious with yourself and just asking yourself those deep questions and seeing what answers come to mind are so vital. And here's another thing I would say is when COVID happened, I feel like the world was very 50-50 on how they felt about it, right? There was half of the world that was like, I'm going to go absolutely crazy. I cannot sit. I cannot not grocery shop. I cannot, not go out to eat in restaurants and hang out with friends. Like I have to be busy all the time. And they felt tortured. And then there was like another half of the world that was like, this is great. I mean, it's not great because there's a lot of scary stuff happening and, tragic stuff happening, but like, on a mental and emotional level, like this is what I needed. That was where I was by the time COVID happened. It was like this, oh my God, seeing the world have to slow down was like, this is really great. And it was also very enlightening to watch the people that were absolutely losing their mind, because for a lot of people, it was like, this is making me have to spend so much time with myself and think about things I don't want to think about. It's, making me feel a lot of emotions I don't want to feel. And if there's anything you'll learn from listening to my podcast, this is the moment where I'd be like, ding, 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 that's just it. If you can sit with that, if you can explore that, if you're willing to do that, you can learn so much about yourself. And when you know yourself at a subconscious level, when you are addressing and healing the things that are not so much working out for you in your favor, that's when you have all of the power and control to build the life that you really, really want. So when you ask yourself, or when you think about things you want in your life, changes that you want to see happen, goals you want to reach, things that you would like to accomplish or experience or do, whether it's by yourself or with your family or your significant other or your children, or, accolades you want to reach in your career, changes of career, like whatever it is that you want to do, the world is at your fingertips. And I will tell you that it's not usually a lack of your actual skills that keep you from all of the things that you want. It's the lack of awareness around what skills you actually need to work on and develop. And a lot of those skills and your ability to develop them and to strengthen them comes down to your emotions and what you're willing to feel, and being super aware of your mind and how it operates and the stories you hold. So when you're willing to look at all of that, everything becomes so much easier if you actually tackle what's happening within. And that's what I help clients do. So if any of this resonates, you are more than welcome to reach out anytime with questions. You can always schedule a free 60-minute consult on MacyRenee.com. We'll talk about what's going on in your life. We'll talk about different coaching packages that I have. And if any of them resonate, we'll get started. And if they don't, you move on the way that you would like to move on. If you need recommendations for other things you're looking for, I'm happy to provide it. There's never any pressure. So that is always available to you. And here is what I want to say before I let you go. Something super exciting, whether you're new or you've been in my world for a while. I am an emotional intelligence coach, and when clients do come to work with me, they always start with me administering an emotional intelligence assessment. It's not something that you can find on Google. It is legitimate. It's with a company that has been doing emotional intelligence research for decades, and they don't even let you take the test for, just any given way. You have to take it from someone who has been certified by them. And you also have to continually pay the company in order to get the test. So it's not something you can just go buy online or do a quiz online or anything like that. It is a paid for test that contributes more to emotional intelligence research. The first time I ever took it was in 2013. I was given the assessment by Occupational Therapy School, so grad school. They made all of us take it in order to see basically how well we would do under stress of grad school. And I will tell you that when I took this test back in 2013, 10 years ago, it was not good. I did not have good emotional intelligence. It was decent, especially considering everything that I went through in my life, but it definitely was not serving me at all. I had a lot of work to do, but when I was a student, I didn't know what to do with that freaking test. I mean, they were like, here, take this assessment. I took the assessment. They gave us a copy of our results. They're like, here's your EQ. They went through a little bit of what it meant, and they're like, okay, enjoy grad school. And so I never knew what to do with it. I put it in a folder and never looked at it again. And funny enough, through coaching, I learned a lot more about the words emotional intelligence and what it meant. And I became super, super interested in it. And I decided I wanted to get certified so that I could start giving it to my clients, because I wanted to measure their progress in working together. I wanted to be able for not only myself, but for them to see that coaching really does help them. I wanted something measurable for them, considering that what I do with my clients is emotional work. Every coach has a different niche. Every coach is working on different things. This is what lights me up and drives me every single day. Emotional intelligence is huge for me. It's my favorite thing ever. I could talk about it 24/7. So my point in saying all of this is that typically the only people that get to take the EQ assessment with me are people who sign on as one-on-one clients or who sign on into my group programs, either the Equip Society or the Hybrid Experience. And unless they make that investment, I do not offer anyone the ability to take the EQ assessment because it is an investment for me as well. To even give it to my clients, it is an investment that I have to make into them, okay? So I don't typically offer it. However, I want to let you know that for the first time ever, I am going to be doing a 5-day coaching event starting on November 6th, 2023, just in case you catch this episode years from now. November 6th, 2023 through November 10th, I'm doing a 5-day live coaching event. It's called Holly Jolly Boundaries, but it goes way beyond boundaries, okay? And it all stemmed from basically a request that I got for a podcast on how to navigate the family gatherings, holidays, all of that when you really don't want to go. I got a lot of feedback about people who have stress around engaging with their family, engaging with in-laws, engaging with cousins and uncles and sisters and brothers. And I realized that a lot of our stressors come from just interacting with our family and having this expectation of here's what I want, my family dynamic to look like, and it doesn't look like that, and I feel disempowered and I'm frustrated and I hate, kind of engaging in the holidays, or I hate that they don't respect my wishes or my boundaries and all of the things. And I saw a need and I thought I want to do a 5-day event to coach you all through this, but more importantly, I want you to know your current EQs. I want you to know this because it impacts your stress. It impacts how flexible you are when things are changing or when your family members aren't changing things and expect you to just fall in line. And you're an adult now, you're not a child. I wanted it because it also will show you your emotional awareness and your emotional resilience and all of the things. So it's going to be a 5-day coaching event, and when you sign up, you get to actually take the EQ assessment, a really big deal. It's the first time I've ever offered it this way at such a low price. It's $297, so $297, 5 days of coaching, and you get to take the EQ assessment. This is a steal. You would seriously be silly not to do it. I promise you, because unless you're going to do the bigger investments, this is not usually something that you're able to do. You're not able to get the EQ assessment, okay? So if this is something you're interested in, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, if you've wanted an EQ assessment, I get a lot of messages like, Macy, do you ever offer just an EQ assessment? I don't, okay? But this is your opportunity to get one at the lowest possible price that has ever been, okay? $297, 5 days of coaching, November 6th through 10th, EQ assessment. We're going to coach you on all of the stressors around relationships, your family dynamics, anything that's coming up from you, your stress, the holidays that are quickly approaching. It goes so much beyond those 5 days. Like everything that you're going to learn, you're going to be able to take with you from here on out. You're going to know your EQ so that you know what skills are going to be important for you to work on. Like you're going to learn a lot about yourself, and it's going to be super helpful. So I invite you to show up. All you have to do to sign up is go to MacyRenee.com, work with Macy tab, Holly Jolly Boundaries, and sign up. As soon as you do that, I send out the assessment link, your EQ assessment, every evening. I do a batch of them to whoever has signed up that day. And you take it whenever you have a free chance, sometime between now and November 5th, and then you will get sent your results, and then we will start coaching together November 6th through the 10th. I will give you all of the information, the link in which you'll join. Make it for as many days as you can. And here's the thing. I'm giving lifetime access to the calls. So your $297 not only covers the 5 days of live coaching and your EQ assessment, but also lifetime access to the content. So even if you can't show up live every single day, it's still worthwhile whether you can show up 1 day or 2 days and then have the replays for life. You will really be happy that you did this. So if you have any questions, let me know. And otherwise, I will see you there. I'm so excited. Reach out to me if you need anything at all, and I will talk to you next week. Bye. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. If you'd like to connect on social media, you can find me on both Instagram and Facebook at Macy Renee Coaching. And if you want to stay up to date on all of my offers, announcements, and inspirational emails, you can join my email list at macyrenee.com. In addition, if there's a way that I can further support you in your coaching journey, you can schedule a free 60-minute consult at macyrenee.com anytime you want so we can discuss the best options for you. I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have an amazing day.